Welcome, my friends of the interwebs, and this is going to be kind of an update video. I really need to do one. There's been a lot going on in my life lately, and you know, especially with the real life videos, I've been kind of aloof about the whole aloof. Is that really a word? Aloof. I've been kind of secretive about the whole real life episodes and what's going on, and I've told you, you know, many times, you know, I really couldn't tell you this and I really couldn't tell you that, and I kind of had to dance around things and or do little things, little snippets of the real life stuff, like the last couple of videos. And when I shot those last two videos, the ones with Bill and Loretta, it was because I wanted to do something in regards to my real life videos, but I didn't want to. I was still, the United States Attorney's Office had still asked me not to vlog about certain things, and so I didn't. But I still wanted to, because I get every day, seemingly every day, I get a lot of people PMing me saying, hey, you know, really would like to have another real life episode, da 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 da. So I thought it would be kind of nice to maybe, while I had Bill and Loretta at my house, they mow my grass, by the way. And for some of you that were wondering why they were so hot looking, they just got done mowing the grass, and it was like 98 degrees and humid as hell. So, but anyway, I thought it would be nice while I had them, because they actually know the characters that I have talked about in my real life series. I get a lot. There are people who think that I've made this whole story up, you know, and nothing could be further from the truth. Everything I've ever said in any of my real life videos is absolutely 100% true. So it was kind of interesting to be able to talk to somebody that actually knows who Pinhead is, or Frito, you know, and maybe share that with you guys. That was what that was all about. And I still needed to kind of keep things in the dark to satisfy the United States Attorney's Office, who have been prosecuting some characters in Kentucky over the last, well, all right, how can I put this? Certain things I'm freed up to talk about, okay? And it kind of comes in chunks. Last Saturday morning at 2 a.m., my phone rang. Per instructions from me, by the way, letting them know that I didn't care what time it was, that they needed to call me with the results. There were 6 people that had been indicted by the United States Attorney's Office. Unfortunately, Pinhead wasn't one of them yet. But 6 people were indicted. This has been quite a while ago. And last Friday, the jury went into deliberations. And at 1:30 a.m., they concluded and came to a verdict of guilty. Now, none of this is going to make a whole lot of sense to you, because I'm going to have to go back and establish the storyline. Because the people that were indicted, I hadn't really even mentioned. They are the Hillbilly Mafia, they called themselves. They had perpetrated quite a scheme that netted them upwards of, I believe, $100 million in the last 10 years. So they had a lot going on for themselves. But I don't want to spoil too much, because I need to go back, establish the storyline, because, you know, Frito's story was interesting, and Frito's the reason I actually started the whole real life stories. Because it was so frustrated with the corruption and the, you know, the crooked cops, the whole thing. And I wanted to document what was going on. In fact, I think Yankee Prepper had an interesting point. Psychologically, I think that part of it was to make it very hard for them to kill me, because you know, there'd be so many eyes on those people. And in a lot of ways, he's right about that. It did embolden me once I got the story going, that I knew that if anything ever happened to me, I'd have hundreds of subscribers demanding justice on my behalf. So, and that was really part of what my thinking was, along with other things. But anyway, Frito was an interesting character. Now he's dead. So I mean, it's kind of surreal to me in a way, because it seems like yesterday, though it's been 5 years ago. And then, of course, you know all about Pinhead, and there's still more to talk about with Pinhead, though I'm going to have to kind of stay off of Pinhead for a while, for reasons I just don't want to tell you. I just going to keep quiet about. There might be a little bit more I can tell you about Pinhead, but then I just got to shut up. But I do have a message for Pinhead before the end of this. Maybe at the end of this video, I will have a message for Pinhead, because I know Pinhead watches my videos. So Pinhead, you're going to have to stay to the end and hear what I have to say to you. So anyway, this new group of people is a company called Target Oil and Gas. Most of you know. Well, maybe not most of you, but a lot of you know that I've got two gas wells and one oil and gas well on my property in Kentucky. And they were drilled by a company called Target Oil and Gas. Now, I do have a link to my oil and gas channel. And there's 4 videos on there called Mike Smith Target Oil and Gas 1 through 4. Don't bother watching those if you haven't seen them yet, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually copy those videos from that channel. I'm going to end up closing that channel, I think. And then I'm going to insert those videos. Instead of it being Mike Smith Target Oil and Gas 1, 2, 3, and 4, it'll be real life number, I don't know, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, something to that effect. Or I'm working on it yet, because it's kind of integral to the whole story. And I might tell I'll probably tell some background story before I get to those videos as far as the real life goes. But as big of a deal as Frito was, I mean, as big of a player as he was in that area, as big of a deal as Pinhead is in that area, in their little crime syndicate, they had nothing on the Hillbilly Mafia. I mean, the Hillbilly Mafia had it all, had millions of dollars. I mean, Pinhead could only dream to be as successful of a criminal as Mike Smith. And by the way, I can actually call him a criminal now because he's been convicted and he is a criminal. Sentencing, I think, is September maybe? I don't remember, but he's looking at 20 years in jail. So anyway, it's a much more interesting story in the sense that it's in a much grander scale of criminal activity. And some really crazy things happened with this company. In fact, I testified this last time I was in Kentucky. I went to my house first, and then I went to Lexington to actually testify against Target Oil and Gas. Principally, Mike Smith, who was the president of Target Oil and Gas, and Christopher Smith, which was his brother, who was the vice president. There were 4 other people that were indicted along with them at the same time, but they had already pled guilty. So basically, the 2 Smith brothers were the final holdouts for the trial. And they held out to the jury verdict, which was overwhelmingly guilty. So, but anyway, yeah, I've got to set that whole story up. It's really going to be worth it. If you liked the Frito thing, and what I mean by that is that storyline. If you liked the Pinhead storyline, you're going to just be blown away by what the Hillbilly Mafia was doing. They weren't selling drugs. They were doing a lot of drugs. They weren't selling drugs, but they had mountains of money that they had managed to defraud people out of. It was just absolutely amazing. So anyway, that whole story can be told now, because for a very long time, I couldn't even talk about it because I'd been asked by the U.S. Attorney's Office not to. And I know that a lot of people thought that I was down in Lexington at the United States Attorney's Office regarding Pinhead. I will tell you that Pinhead's name came up more than once. And, I don't know that that's going to work out very well for him, truthfully. But it is what it is. So anyway, that's kind of the update with that. As far as the rest of my channel goes, it's going to be the same stuff. I mean, I got a lot of shooting footage in Kentucky. I'm working my way through that. I'm trying to put some stuff together. Some of it's pretty good and some of it's crap. I'm going to try to avoid the crap stuff. I don't do a ton of editing. In fact, I almost do no editing on any of my videos. Most of you know that. It's just the way I am. I'm just real. I turn the camera on, I turn the camera off. Whatever lands in between those two functions is what I put up. But I would like to know from you people, do you think that it's time for me to kind of step up my game? There was a YouTuber that made me an intro. I'm going to use it in some of my future videos. And I plan on doing a big shout out to him over it. It's a really cool intro, but never really been big in things like that. I'm just a raw kind of guy. But I really would like to know, do you think that I should step my game up? Do you think that, for example, I know a lot of people like my gardening videos. A lot of people don't like my gardening. Well, I don't know what to say other than do you think I should make things a little more interesting? I don't know. If you have some advice, I use Sony Vegas software for my editing program. If you have some advice for me, I'd really appreciate it. But maybe you like it the way it is. I like it the way it is. I mean, I really do. Although there are times when I'd like to kind of do something a little more interesting. In terms of fancy editing or stuff, I wouldn't mind doing stuff like that. But but for the most part, I'm just a regular guy. I'm nothing special. I'm not it always cracks me up when people call me a star of YouTube or a big guy on YouTube or a big shot on YouTube. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm a nobody on YouTube. I look at big people on YouTube. These are people with, I don't know, 1 million views on every video they make. I'm a schmuckatelli, man. Sometimes I only get like 300-400 views. I don't. It always cracks me up because I do not know why anybody would think that I'm anything special on YouTube. I try, but anyway. I don't know how long I'm gonna make this video. I might make it really, really long. I know it's a douchebag thing to do, but everybody else gets to be a douchebag. I mean, hell, every now and again, I just want to be a douchebag. I haven't done a channel update in a long time, so of course. Most of them all end up being kind of a rambling channel update. So I'll get to the pinhead thing in a minute. Yeah, I want to do some, I'm going to start doing some workout videos. I know I told you guys a long time ago that I was going to start using this gym equipment. I really have to. This diabetes thing it blows. I'm going to do some videos on diabetes too. Because I've been a diabetic now for, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. And it sucks. It just sucks, and I just have to kind of suck it in, and I've got to get back in shape. I put on so much weight after I quit smoking cigarettes, which is, by the way, what made me a diabetic. I've got to lose that. So I'm going to start doing some workout videos. I know that's going to invite a lot of trolling, but I don't care. I really don't. There's always going to be douchebags on YouTube with something to say. That's just the way it is. So I'm going to do some of those. If any of you have any other ideas for my MadBadVoodo channel, things that you might want to see, I'm more than happy to. I know a lot of you just want to see gun videos, but I don't want to do just gun videos. I love doing gun videos. I love shooting, and I consider myself part of the gun community. But, there's a lot of other stuff I'd like to do too. I want to do more cooking videos. I know a lot of you really like my cooking videos. A lot of you like when I showed you the salad spinner. I think only one jack-off said anything negative about that. And then he pretended not to. That wasn't what I said. Whatever, you idiot. Most people kind of dug that I showed him that. I've got some other kitchen gadgets that I think are really kind of cool. And I don't know, if you don't like something I'm doing, for example, if I'm doing a workout video and you're only into my gun videos, you don't have to, listen, I don't get butthurt if somebody doesn't watch my videos. If you're not into my gun videos, I don't get butthurt if you don't watch those, and maybe you just want to see my garden videos, or if you're not going to be into my workout videos, that's cool, totally cool with me. I'm not one of those people that look and who hasn't commented, and I'm not one of those people. Those people got serious issues. In my opinion, of course, there's a lot of people on YouTube have serious issues. A lot of you know that I put up on my front page my P.O. box, and that's for anybody that wants to send something to me. I don't care if it's if it's a letter saying you're a fat ass asshole. I don't care what it is. You can send it to that P.O. box. Try to give me the heads up if it's something that you want me to open up on camera, and and I'll do that for you. I don't know. I think this fall I'm entertaining the idea. Right now it's at the entertainment stage. Or I'm entertaining myself with it. Thinking about maybe having a smallish YouTube gathering at my property in Kentucky. Just real quick, the zip code is 40909. 40909? Yeah, 40909. So MapQuest it or Google Map it and see how close it is to you. And let me know if you'd be interested. What the thought is that, now I've only got a 3-bedroom house down there, so I'm not talking about putting people up in my house, though I've got showers, whatnot. I'm thinking about like a camp out situation. I've got a lot of property, so you can bring your RV, pop-up campers, regular campers. If you can bring it, I got a place for you. I don't have any hookups for the most part, but we're talking rugged stuff. tents, but I'm thinking about having maybe 20 people, 30 tops, doing shootouts. If you got a four-wheeler, you can bring that. If you got a boat, I got a boat launch. The Cumberland River runs through my property, and there's a boat launch fairly close by. But John boats, for the most part, are really what you'd want there. But there's really good fishing if you want to fish on the rocks. Set targets up, have shooting competitions, maybe even a squirrel hunting competition, you know, depending on what time of the year. Well, in the fall, it would definitely be squirrel season. I think squirrel season starts in September. You know, and I'm not sure, I think rabbits even in too. So you'd have to get an out-of-state license if you weren't from Kentucky, but hey. Also maybe, you know, I mean, well, campfires, big bonfires, cookouts. I don't know. I'm just thinking about doing this. Let me know if that's something that would be of interest to you, and maybe we can get that going on. I think it'd be kind of cool. You know, it's a fun place to be. You know, hopefully by then, you know, Pinhead's in jail. Which, all right, let me get to the part. I know some of you are chomping at the bit for me to get to the part with Pinhead, and then I'm going to let this this video go. Oh, but before I get to that, I think Sour Tongue's forced that I get sidetracked easily. This is true. I do. I get sidetracked because I got a little brain, real small brain. You know, somebody's over in the corner with a squeaky toy. It's just really screwing me up. My two contests, my contest on my MadBadVoodo channel and my contest on the on my Voodoo Politics channel, the winners, well, the same dude won first prize on both channels. Unbelievable. But he has unboxing videos up. I've got them actually on both channels on the display. But I'm going to change that and just put the link to them. And I'm pretty sure, I know the second place prize put his up, the guy that won the Snap-on stuff. And then I think it was Chrome Freak. No, he won the Voodoo Doll, I think. Anyway, all of them should be up by tonight. I'm going to put a link down there as soon as they're all up, and then so you can see what prizes were won on my contest. Okay, Pinhead. Okay, this is really just a message for Pinhead, and all of you can feel free to watch it. Pinhead, you have been interested in finding out what is involved in suing me for slander. Okay, I'm going to give you some advice. Okay, what you need to do is you can pick up the phone book and then go to attorneys. Okay, usually it's an A. Okay, go to attorneys, and then scroll down the list of attorneys and find one, you know, that you like. Maybe close by. I'm thinking in Bell County. You know, there's a lot of attorneys in Pineville that are pretty decent. I can recommend some. Shoot me a PM. I'll recommend a decent attorney for you. You call them and tell them that you'd like to have a meeting with them, and usually consultation is free. Then you go to their office, walk through the front door, and then talk to the receptionist and tell her that, you know, my name's Pinhead and I'm here to meet with attorney so-and-so. And then she'll tell you to sit down, and then she'll call you when attorney so-and-so's ready. And then when you go into attorney so-and-so's office, be polite, shake his hand, and then say to him, I'd like to sue Richard Hunter for slander because he's been saying lots of really bad things about me on the internet. Okay? And you might, if you can, I know you don't have a laptop. Maybe you know somebody with a laptop, or he's probably got internet access. So take the URLs. You can write them down, and so he can easily find them. Or just tell him to look for MadBadVoodo on you know, YouTube, and then have him watch the videos. And I've called you a tax cheat. I've called you this is the slander. You might want to write all this stuff down so you can tell the attorney this. I said you were you grew marijuana. I mean, you're a pot cultivator. Told him that on camera. I mean, all this stuff you can actually use as evidence against me in this big trial. We're going to have this big trial. The other thing you're going to tell him is that I said that you drew a check. You were a check drawer, and that your ailment for check drawing was bogus. That you were. I basically said you were committing fraud because you really weren't injured. You know, and you know. Also, what else? Let me see. Let me recap this. SSI fraud, tax fraud. I also alluded that you had hundreds of acres of land, and one part's got a gas well, and you've actually signed a deal with Nailing Hampton to have the coal extracted. Tell them that tell the lawyer I said all that, and then tell him that you want to sue me, to sue Richard Hunter. And then you're gonna give him your money because he's gonna want some money up front. It's called a retainer. Don't worry about it. Everybody pays it. And then you sit back and you wait. Eventually what will happen is I'll get a notice in the mail, registered mail, where I have to sign for it. And it will be a notice that I'm being sued for slander in the Bell County courts. Okay. And there'll be a date for me to answer the complaint. Because what you're going to be doing is complaining is what's going to happen. And then, we'll do our little dance, and then I'll get to subpoena people, and you'll get to subpoena people. But I don't know who you're going to subpoena. Really, you could just use my videos. I mean, I've said the stuff that I've said. But let me tell you who I'm going to be subpoenaing. I'm going to give you a list right now. Ed Gaunt. I'm going to subpoena Ed Gaunt. And I'm going to ask him a few interesting questions. I won't be asking the questions. My attorney will be. As to who really owns that property. Oh, the other person I'm going to subpoena is Jimmy Curd. Yeah, Jimmy Curd. I'm going to ask him under oath who he had to negotiate for that property to. In case you can't remember, Jimmy Curd was the land agent for the oil and gas company that you signed a deal with, or I'm sorry, your father signed a deal with, so you could have a gas well on your property. And Ed Gaunt was the landman for the coal company that you had to negotiate with to get the coal. So I'll be very curious to see what they have to say as far as who owns the property. Then I'm going to also have to subpoena a few other people. You know what? I'm not going to tell you the rest of them, but you'll like it. So don't be confused, Pinhead, as to how you can sue me. I've laid it out for you. By the way, the last guy who sued me for slander is now going to be sentenced to go to jail for 20 years. And, well, hopefully he gets 20 years. I don't know how many years he's going to get, but he's going to get a lot of years. That's the last guy who sued me for slander because of my videos on YouTube. He's going to jail. Because here's the thing people have to understand. Pinhead, please understand this. I'm trying to help you out. I'm going to try to help you save a lot of money on this deal. The best defense against slander is that you told the truth. Because the truth may hurt. It may be inconvenient for you. It may suck. But the fact of the matter is this. The truth is not slander. So I don't lose any sleep over you telling people that you're going to sue me for slander. Or what's the last thing you said? If I could figure out how to sue him for slander, I would. Yeah. That's if you could figure out. What you're really saying is you can't. The last thing a cockroach wants is to be in a courtroom because there's a lot of lights in there, and they're neon lights. So anyway, feel free to sue me, Pinhead. I will enjoy that. The last lawsuit should be interesting. It's still pending. But, considering the fact that the man was convicted on multiple counts of fraud, I don't think me calling him a con man is going to get me in any kind of trouble whatsoever. So maybe when you're convicted of fraud, and that's Social Security fraud, tax fraud, the whole list of frauds, once you're convicted of that, I guess I won't have much to worry about either. So anyway. Or you can just sit back and put up with me busting your balls, because that's really all I'm doing here. Busting your balls. You deserve it. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, enough with Pinhead. I'm done with Pinhead. Pinhead, you're dismissed. Everybody, it's been a pleasure. I don't know how long this is. Way too long of a video. I apologize for that. I don't do it to you very often. I just kind of felt like touching base with you and letting you know what was going on. And the real life series, I believe, will be stepped up a notch as far as the story goes, in my opinion. I may get some interviews. I'd like to get some interviews if I can pull this off. I'm going to be going down to Lexington for the sentencing, and hopefully I get to speak, as a victim of the deal. Hopefully I get to speak in front of the judge to persuade the judge to give more time, as much time as possible to those clowns. But in the process, I'd like to get some interviews. I'd like to get an interview with the U.S. attorney, who is awesome. She did a really good job prosecuting the Hillbilly Mafia. I'd like to get an interview with one of the postal inspectors who did a really good job in this. I'd like to get an interview with one of the Securities Exchange guys who did a really good job with this. also another U.S. attorney, and I'd really like to get an interview with the judge. The judge is kind of a fascinating guy because he's from Southeast Kentucky. And what I find interesting about that, a lot of people have seen my interview with the Hillbilly videos. And, you know, I don't even know what to say about this other than this judge is really something special. And he comes from the hills of Kentucky. I think it would be the ultimate interview with the Hillbilly video to actually interview a hillbilly that's actually a federal judge appointed by a president of the United States. I think he was appointed by the first George Bush, if I'm correct. I may be wrong about that, but I think Herbert Walker Bush. So anyway, I'm not going to keep rambling on. I know most of you right now are like, what the hell? So everybody have a good one.